Hello, today we will see how to install Apache on Linux. We're gonna see how to install PHP on Linux too. And we want to install Apache and PHP because we want to host our own website. This is the purpose of that installation. Don't worry, you can install that on on Windows also, or any operating system that you want. What is important when you want to host yourself? You need a web server installed on your machine, because you cannot write PHP or HTML web pages and execute the code on your standard machine. That code, the PHP code, will not execute without PHP, and a web server is the place to install that. Let's see how the installation is going to work. I'm connected to my machine, going to root, and when we are at the command line to install on some operating system, you're gonna type uinstall. On this one, you're gonna type apt-get install. apt-get, it's the way to install a package. The package I want to install is Apache 2. Searching in all repository that has been defined on that Ubuntu machine. When the package has been found, now operating system prepare to unpack Apache 2.4 and so on, and then starting Apache. The web server has been started and now it's working. If I'm looking to the process running, actually I should have some Apache running. Today has been lunch at so 8 o'clock p.m. it's 20 when we look into a 24-hour clock, 37. So just being launched right now. Let me install now PHP. The same command. Install PHP. Looking into the same repository, unpacking PHP 2.7, setting up, and we're ready. So now we install both. We install a web server, Apache, and Apache, when you're gonna have a web pages with PHP code in it, Apache will be able to use PHP to run that code and provide the result to the internet user that visit your web page. The Apache installation directory for the configuration, it's here in a folder name /etc Apache 2. There is a file, apache2.conf. That file, we have configuration right here. Our installation pages will be in /var/www. So look into that in this folder in your machine. You should have a subfolder called HTML. This is where you're gonna put your pages. So that way, when you're gonna type www.mydomainname.com/index.php, that index.php will belong into the local machine in /var/www HTML. var www, and there is a subfolder here, HTML, and I have my index. I put that just a couple of seconds ago to avoid some elapsed time, but normally you should have an empty folder here. I'm gonna take this one I just copy my own index.html, and we're gonna go through what I did in that. So remember, we installed Apache. Apache is running in memory, and it's a web server. Is listening on port 80 and is waiting for request. Actually, nobody tried to access my machine on port 80, so Apache do nothing. As soon as I'm gonna launch a web browser and I'm gonna type in my website slash, I'm gonna go through this and execute that to show that to the end user. I put some HTML code here and only a small piece of PHP, and just to show you how you can build a really simple web application like that one. That one is an application that accessible through the web to add two number and like a small calculator. In the heading section, I put my first web page. So that will be the title of my heading of my page. I put some interesting meta content type to tell the browser, okay, I'm gonna use a character set UTF-8. I put the name description, another meta name description. This is a description of my website. It's a test page to test my page. You can put better description like that than this one for sure. Keyword is a directive when a crawler will visit your website. A crawler is a small robot designed by a company who index pages like Google, Yahoo, or Bing. It doesn't matter. They all have a crawler going through all websites across the planet. And when they found PHP, HTML, things like that, they look into it. And sometime when there is some keyword like that, they're gonna allow more importance to the keyword you preferred. But the algorithm is pretty tough. It's a big algorithm, complex. There is so much more than just keywords, but keywords is part of it. For my current, I put test. You could say test without S. It's a keyword. Test with an S, or test page, or HTML or PHP. For this page, this is the keyword I want the crawler remember. The author is myself. You can just put your name. And robot, this is a directive for robot. Yes, I want to index this page. And you can follow any link if there is some link in the current document. This is the PHP code. I'm gonna get back later because the first time we're gonna execute this, because we did not post anything. Post it's a method. When we deal with a website, we can get information or we can post to send something. Like when you go on Facebook or any site like that, you post a comment. You already heard that. Post is the method to put comment in it. This is the method when we're gonna use here. But because we did not post anything, because it's the first time we go in the document, it's false, and because it's false, it's doing nothing. So let's start first with the forms, and we're gonna see the method post. When that forms will be shown to the user, and the user click on the submit button, we're gonna post those information the guy or the girl on the website put in the text box. The forms is gonna show enter your first number with a little box beside a text box waiting for a number, and the person who's gonna type the number, that will be put in a variable called num1. and we're going to have a second one, and that will be put on a variable called num2. Pretty simple. And then just below that, we're going to put a submit button. On that button, we're gonna print sum on that button, and when we're gonna post that, the name of that element or that input will be named total. And this is the end of my document. So when the user click post, the browser get back to the same page, print the same thing, but this time total has been post, is part of the post element I got. So now it's true. I'm gonna take first will be the num1, the user provide. Second will be equal to the second number the user provide. Let's imagine number 1 you put 6, and second number the user put 3. First will equal 6, second will equal 3, and total is 6 plus 3, it should be 9. And then on the screen I'm gonna send some HTML code to the browser telling, okay, the total of 6 plus 3 equal 9. I'm just gonna show that, and that's all. This is a pretty straightforward program. Let's try to execute that. I'm going to start Firefox web browser. So Firefox is going to be my web browser for this demonstration. And how to talk to my home server, because you remember I host this web page on my home Ubuntu machine. I need to talk to myself /index.php, and in TCP/IP, the network communication, there is an address every computer have. It's 127.0.0.1, 127.0.0.1. So this is a loopback address that we call that a loopback because we fake to go on the internet. In fact, we just get back in the machine and we're gonna search for a page called index.php. And now this is my forms. It's asking me enter the first number. In my example, I said 6. Enter a second number. I'm going to say 3 because I was thinking about those numbers earlier. And I click on sum. Now I have total of 6 plus 3 equal 9. I can try 5 plus 5. 5 plus 5 equal 2. And I can put 600 like this. And 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. And the sum of these equal 41, 31. Another way to execute or to talk to myself is we can put localhost instead of the IP address like that. I can say localhost. Go on localhost, index.php, had number 54 and 76. It's working the same way. And another way, let's imagine you go on the internet and you buy your own domain name. You go on a registrar domain name provider, you subscribe, you pay, sometimes it's, let's say around $15, and you can choose your own domain name. Let's imagine I call my domain name www.myhome domain name .ca, because you're in Canada, /index.php. For sure that website does not exist. that website does not exist. Let's imagine that you just bought the domain name. There is no really a website exist at this moment on the internet, but I want to test on my loopback. There is a way of doing this. You can, in Linux, you can go in etc. There is a file named host over there. In name host, you can put 127.0.0.1. So here, the host file is going to act as a domain name server. Before going on the internet, Linux is going to look inside himself if he already know that name. And actually, instead of going to internet to try to resolve this domain name, because it's in my etc host file, I'm gonna point to my loopback address. So let's try that now. Let's start Firefox again and try again with my home domain name.ca, and now it's working. It points on the loopback, and I can add two numbers now, 81 plus 19, and the sum of this is 100. I hope you're gonna be able to start a small website like that and host this on your own server, and eventually when your website is ready, you can subscribe on a hosting service, and you can put your web page over there and should work fine. Or you can still continue to host yourself, but in your registrar domain name provider, you will have to put your public IP address, and in your router you should do some maybe port forwarding, because every request getting in your router or firewall, it doesn't matter, on port 80 from your public address, you need to bind this to your local IP machine to make sure the requests go through properly and find the web server. That could be the next learning you have, but for now, you know exactly how to host your own web page and prepare yourself, and then you can export that to a host, the host you prefer. Thank you very much. Have a great day.